FGM is exported, to the Western world. I was 6 years old when the day I was circumcised. We had a big party in my house, and it was the day that my sister was going to be circumcised. And I mean, obviously, I did not have a clue, that I was not circumcised, because usually, at 6 months old, you're completely unaware about what's happening to you. And so I was, seeing my sister of 6 months old, crying, and shouting, and blood's coming everywhere, while a lot of women, were clapping and singing, I was really not in the same mood, as those women. After my sister was circumcised, within the next 5 minutes, I see everybody looking at me, and I was like, oh my God, what's happening, And then my mother, with her eyes wide open, she's like, oh my God, I forgot to circumcise you. And she felt guilty, about it, she's like, oh, I need to save you now, And I was like, so shocked. I didn't know what to say, what to do, All I saw is those two big women, coming towards me, and my mother, trying to hold me in her hand. And, they circumcised me on the spot, Who decide is, it's not even for someone to decide, is your destiny, is to go through it. FGM is not an Islamic, practice, is not anywhere, in the Quran. It's just one of the cultural things that they do, It's not a religion. I want to highlight that. It's very important, because a lot of people, confuse the two. Usually, like the typical, circumcision, like event, celebration, in the village. It happens on the bush, with all the women, But in other cases, it could happen at home, It's definitely not a medical intervention, so it doesn't happen in hospital, When you go through the circumcision, is done, without any anesthesia, basically. You are fully aware of what's happening. I mean, they took the razor blade, and you just cut it. And you feel numb for 1 second, and then you feel this sharp pain, and there's nothing you can do about it, it's done. And after that, I was like in a coma, the pain just completely, like took over my body, Basically, they think that FGM purify, little girls. Without that, they won't get married. I didn't know I was any different to anybody else, It's only when I came in this country and I realized, oh my God, I've been abused. I think that the process of FGM, violates, women's rights, because it's basically a pure discrimination of women's freedom, to enjoy natural human, like desire. We're talking about human rights, but the rights to live, Some girls die on the spot. I'm just very strong, like for me, any negative things that happen to me, I change it to positive. I think to convince, these countries, and to make them aware that they are committing, violation of human rights, is basically to have as many people like me, people that have been through it, people that are from their culture, and do not deny that they are from their culture, to speak out loud, and to tell them, listen, I mean, the world is different, we have our good things, but this is not good. I am not pro, for the Western world to interfere, on other people's problems and issues, especially when it comes to politics. But when it comes to human rights, basic human rights, I think those girls, needs as many people as they can, to fight for their rights.